Welcome to Generation Gaming. I'm your host, Maddrequiem, and my partner in crime,
DJ Kokoro. In this show, we like to talk a lot about gaming from historical moments to terminology and beyond.
Our mission statement to bridge the gap between generations and platforms of gamers.
Uniting gamers with their common love for games and entertainment.
Alright, welcome back. I'm Maddrequiem, your host, with
DJ Kokoro.
And our special guest today is Joey Caron. Joe, why have we brought you in here today?
Mainly because I play too many video games.
That's a good answer, Joe. Joe is, in fact, a very skilled first-person shooter and is actually on a official paintball team. For those who are in the gaming world, he is also known in several games as Seraph. Alright, so the first thing we're going to talk about today is first-person shooters. What is a first-person shooter? That is when you are in such a position that you are looking directly across, you are looking through crosshairs with a gun, and you are going around shooting people. Most of them are army-based, and a few of them have been more, criminal. So, there's a lot of titles.
Yeah.
So many titles. But most of them are Army. There's Black Ops. There's Modern Warfare. There's
Battlefield.
Also a whole lot of World War II ones. So, we're going to go on and we're going to interview our good friend Joe. So, take it away, DJ Kokoro.
Hi, Joe. Nice to meet you.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Alright, so my first question to you. What is your favorite first-person shooter?
My favorite first-person shooter of all time is more nostalgic-based than game-based. I'm going to have to go with GoldenEye on the N64.
That's so old.
I know. Me and my brothers grew up playing it. We probably put 1,000 or more hours in the game. There wasn't a lot available back then, but just the camaraderie of the multi-screen, multiplayer, playing with all your friends, really pioneered, made way for a lot of the games that came out that we play today.
Is it possible that's why you like paintballing so much? Because the paintball mode in GoldenEye?
Maybe. I just like running around shooting at people legally.
Good thing you gave context.
Context. It helps.
Oh my god.
Hashtag not a serial killer.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Alright, so, you have more there?
Let's see. What do you feel the most realistic FPS game?
I'm a huge fan of Counter-Strike. The Modern Warfares on the hard modes, anything where it's one shot, one kill, make it a little more realistic. My least favorite thing in first-person shooters is when you get the drop on somebody and you're like, man, I'm gonna feel good. I'm gonna take out this other player, and you take a couple of shots and it doesn't kill them, and they turn around and one-shot you, and you're like, what? So anything that's got the one shot, one kill, like more realistic basis to the gaming engine.
But some of the games have like a very terrible aiming kind of thing, where it's like, I think it was called recoil and stuff. For example, Counter-Strike. Does it really apply in real life as well, where you shoot down and then manages a headshot?
Yes, it does. Recoil, well, it depends on, of course, the game. But recoil in gaming, I think, is an important thing to take into effect because it allows you to put in more advanced weaponry, but still allow the game to be balanced. So, yeah, you get more ammo out there faster, but just like in real life, if you hold down a trigger on a fully automatic weapon, the recoil pushing back is going to throw off your aim. And so there's things, especially in the Modern Warfare, where they put on the front grips and the suppressors or the barrel brakes or whatever to reduce that, to let you really customize your experience in that game and balance your spray and pray method, where you just throw a lot out there and hope for the best, versus the people that like precision, where they're going to go out there and try and take that one precise shot.
Like one ticks and stuff?
Yeah.
Speaking of very precise shots, Joe, Are you a pistol person or a sniper rifle person?
Ooh, that's a good question. Most of the time in gaming, I'm gonna like to keep back at my range because I feel like it increases my survivability. So if I can get an AR-15 in a game like Modern Warfare or the sniper rifle like an Unreal Tournament where I can hang back, I really like that. But the greatest joy I get is when you pull out whatever the melee in the game is. So you come up in Counter-Strike or Modern Warfare and you knife somebody, and then you got those bragging rights. And I think that's the most enjoyable moments.
He has multiple of those bragging rights over me. He does.
I feel like you're the type of guy that goes teabagging people.
I've done my fair share.
Okay, so talking about like games, what do you prefer? Games that are based off historical moments like World War II, or games that are based off like present time, where like Counter-Strike, where it's like with the current weapons of the military, that's what they use. Which one do you like?
I like the modern weapons. It gives a lot more variety. Most of the modern weapons let you take the older weapons into them too. I really like the future games like the Halos and the Unreal Tournaments and stuff where it really gets crazy and faster pace. I don't like to be slowed down with the realism of my movement mechanics. I want to really accelerate what I enjoy in gaming, and that's the fast-paced colliding with other players, seeing who comes out the best with the fastest aim and stuff like that.
So you're like those present and future ones, but there's a game recently that was released and apparently hyped called Battlefield 1, and it's based off World War 1. Are you planning on playing it?
I plan on playing it. I haven't got a hold of that one myself yet. I played some of the older ones. And that brings me back to my days where I used to go to LAN parties and you'd show up, there'd be 300 people on 1T1 line trying to game together. And, that's a special memory for me because we got it before it was out in the stores. We were at one of the gigabit LAN centers down in like Hanford or something, and it was just a great time.
What has been your least favorite of the first-person shooter games?
Oh, man. I never really think about them because I pick them up and I put them away and I never think about them again.
Yeah, exactly.
Just think of one. Think of one that seems to be stuck in your head.
Well, currently the newest Modern Warfare, I don't like the running and jumping off of walls and stuff where you're flying through the air. I like the game on a whole, but I feel like that mechanic's more, what's the term, where it's like gimmicky.
Unrealistic?
No, I like unrealistic things, but it just seems like a gimmick. It doesn't really add to the game for me.
All right.
So, I heard from my co-host, Maddrequiem, that you do paintballing.
Yeah, here's a shameless plug. I play for Modesto Excessive. I finished up the tournament with my last tournament in second place. It was a great time, great friends, and one of our squads actually made it to Worlds this year, so
Worlds?
That's pretty amazing.
For those who haven't played or gone to any sort of site to look up paintballing, that is when you have a gun where the ammo is a little ball of paint and it hurts. It hurts like hell.
It does not. I hardly ever feel them. It's a good thing the refs are there to let me know I got hit. For those of you who don't know a lot about paintball, the team I'm talking about at Modesto Excessive, we play speedball. That's or airball, where we have inflatable bunkers. It's played on about a football field. It's maybe got 20 inflatables in between us, and I play on the 3-man teams. And it's 3 versus 3. It starts, and you run for bunkers and hope you come out on top.
Dude, that sounds awesome.
You don't bring armor or anything?
No armor. The guns shoot 300 feet per second-ish, which it'll leave a welt, but half the time you don't even know you're hit, honestly. And with all
Too
the
much
adrenaline going.
All the adrenaline.
Yeah, you don't even notice.
God, I feel like it's still going to be painful for me.
But tell us, when it comes to paintballing, how does the online experience compare to the real in there doing it yourself action?
They both have their moments. When you're winning and you're doing really well and the adrenaline's pumping, you feel like you're on top of the world, and you'll do stuff that you probably wouldn't normally do. They call it bunkering, when you run up and run past somebody shooting them at point blank. Not usually the smartest thing to do, but it just gives you such a high.
That seems like that would be a really good intimidating role.
Online gaming, I feel like I get the highs are fewer and far between, the endorphin rush. But when you're like down 6-1 and you can pull out that clinch for the win, there's no difference. You just feel amazing.
Just a little bit like off topic. Are you the type of guy, a clutch player or a consistent one?
By that you mean, am I always the same, or when pressure gets on, I play a little better?
Yeah.
I think when pressure gets on, I play a little better.
So you're a literal clutch. Like you got the team on your back, carrying kids all day.
I can, not always, and I'm fortunate. My team I'm playing with, we got a couple. We're all pretty much clutch players. We play pretty good, but when it comes down to where we're behind and we need this to come ahead, there's always just that one play. It's not always me, but there's always somebody making a crazy play that just pulls off for us.
Oh God, I feel like I'll be afraid if I face you, I'm gonna lose, or basically like a feeder.
All right. Do we have any more questions?
So, like in FPS gaming, there's a thing called ammo, like counting how many shots you have and stuff like that. But have you felt that moment where like you almost killed them and then you ran out of ammo?
Oh yeah, it happens all the time. It might even be all the way out of ammo. It's just like a inconvenient reload where you have the drop on something, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, only 3 rounds in the magazine.
do you get pissed by that? It's like literally shout like, ugh!
I wouldn't say pissed, but frustrated. I'll get frustrated and yell. Absolutely, because it's like I was doing really well and I just shot myself in the foot by not planning ahead, and I get mad at myself.
Yeah, it doesn't stop him from pistol whipping you though if he does run out of ammo.
Does it happen to you in paintball though?
Yeah, it happens to you in paintball. If you can get caught on a reload. Luckily in paintball, it's kind of slower pace than most video games because they have to close the distance to get an angle on you. And it only takes you maybe a second and a half to reload in paintball, and most people can only move a couple yards in that time. So it happens less in paintball, but absolutely can happen. You get a 200 round hopper, and once that's out, you got to drop in another pod of paint.
All right. In paintball as well, do you guys try doing like camo and stuff, because that applies a lot in video games?
In paintball, it does absolutely happen. There's people that go out there, they call it woods ball, where you're playing out in more urban or forestry environments. And absolutely, camouflage is going to give you a huge advantage out there. In speedball, not so much. It's closer quarters, it's faster pace. You pretty much know where people are, where the people are shooting at you from.
All right, so it's fast paced, yes, but how about like, do you guys do like melees as well? Like taking down like some judo trick or something?
Yeah, actually, if you're not playing with the most advanced players, they call them, it breaks down different names in different arenas. But if you're playing with like the intermediate players and you're not allowed to shoot up close, so what you can do is you can run up and you can pull out a melee, or you can force them to surrender point blank without actually shooting them.
Oh, I did not know that. That's very interesting.
It makes it a little bit easier for newer players because nobody likes to get hit from 2 feet away.
No one does. No.
Oh God, I have the experience before, literally.
So, Joe, I know that you have had some police academy training. Did the first-person shooting all your life end up helping you with the police academy when it came to live round action, or no?
Absolutely. In the academy, your target requisition comes down to usually an emblem the size of a police badge or a gun or something somebody's holding. And so for years of quick flash looking around corners and seeing if it's your teammates or not, shoot, don't shoot. Well, when you get into a live fire simulation, and you need that quick instinct of, is that a hazard or is that a friend? It came into a lot of help at that point.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a quick musical break, and then we will be back to talk more about what our favorite first-person shooters are. So please stay tuned and enjoy this song. And we're back. This is once again Generation Gaming, and we're talking about first-person shooters. All right, so we're going to now move on to a section I like to call round robin shooting. Ha ha ha, yeah. So the idea is we're going to talk about what makes a game special for us when it comes to first-person shooters. My role for a first-person shooter is I know this is a sin because we just listened to Halo, but I prefer real-life shooting. I prefer World War II or modern era shooting games as opposed to going and doing space guns because that's just sometimes it's too unrealistic, though I will admit I do love the laser sword. So it's got to be realistic for me. I got to actually feel like I'm in it. It's got to be immersive. It's got to have storyline, and that's why I've been missing so much from so many of these recent first-person shooter games. All right, Kokoro, what about you?
I'm in that Overwatch train. Whoop whoop. What?
I have a face of utter disappointment in here right now.
No, I hear it's a great game. I haven't been able to play.
No, I hear it's
But I hear it's,
Yeah,
I hear it's really good.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but for some reason I'm stuck with like class-based kind of games, especially now that there's the class-based shooter game where it's like Overwatch and TF2, which is like, yeah, I like it for some reason.
Actually, Black Ops. Was it Black Ops 2 or was it Black Ops 1 where they introduced the idea of set weapons for specific classes?
Well, you can make your own class, and you could modify them so they could be more stealthy or carry more ammo or stuff like that.
Oh.
But it's,
Yeah,
it's similar.
There's a lot of modifications that you could do, and it's not even like,
It's
bad
not,
modifications,
but
like
it's not
in-game modifications.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
This-
cut you off.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this is console game.
Yeah, with like Overwatch, you have like a healer and a tank, and it's like almost like you're playing World of Warcraft in some senses, where you need a team strategy. You can't just as much
Well-
go one versus the other team.
Oh no, I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's okay.
The reason why I liked it is that because I came from League of Legends, where it's based on like MOBA. You literally have the idea of your class, your type of person, your character you're supposed to do, and what things you have, what's unique to you,
Oh,
and
that's a good point.
what gives you, what you bring in the table. That's why I think I like of Overwatch.
All right, that's an acceptable reason to want it. Anything else you require in a first-person shooter game for it to be palatable to you?
I do agree with the realistic thing. Like, right now, I'm looking at like Battlefield 1 videos. Like, ooh, I like it.
One thing we haven't really talked about, we're talking about all PvP first-person shooters, just player versus player, usually online. Some of the other great games that are first-person shooters have a storyline. They don't even have really a great online presence, like the Borderlands series. I'm a huge fan of that. I probably put 800 hours into those games.
Yes, Gage is best player.
I don't remember if Max Payne was a FPS because I know there was like some slow motion part.
Max Payne was FPS, yes.
Oh, yeah, I like Max Payne as well.
Yeah, so there's games out there that aren't PvP based.
Oh yeah, like
that you can
Doom.
you can dump a lot of enjoyable hours into on a console or a computer. You really get your money's worth, and you can really have a lot of laughs with some of them.
All right, but what is your number one requirement for a first-person shooter, any first-person shooter, in fact, to be palatable to you?
Has to be balanced. I don't want a guy that I or somebody else can pick that it's just going to turn the entire tide of the game just by picking a certain character. I think your skill in the game should be number one, what gets you ahead. If it's your skill for you as one-on-one player or for you as a skill, it's helping your team to achieve a goal. It should be the player's skill that really brings the game to light, not a gimmick for one character that happens to be stronger than everybody else.
I agree with that.
But at the moment, the situation where Overwatch stands in is somewhat what you hate somehow because of the class base. A lot of the characters were not used. For example, in competitive, a lot of defense characters were not used because for some reason they would explain it. If the person deals more, then why not choose this guy?
No, that makes a ton of sense for competitive. And it doesn't make the game bad unless the designers don't continue to update and balance the game. You talked about League of Legends. League of Legends didn't start balanced.
Yeah.
There's been updates. I think there's weekly updates now to bring out new characters, modify stuff, and
what I noticed is like every 2 weeks they would do an update. It was like, oh, I just noticed it now.
yeah. So they have a dedicated team trying to keep the game as balanced as possible to make it enjoyable.
All right, so now to talk about what kills the FPS for us. What will make us throw the game literally in the trash? I would have to say, no offense, but since we're bringing up League of Legends anyways, a feminist community will kill a game for me. If I get told many cuss words in a row about my mama, I don't want to play with those people. I will still play the game. I will not play it online, though. As for out of online play, I am not a fan of jump scares or any games where it's a ridiculously hard to get ammo or heal yourself.
Oh, so those like, I know there was a game called BioShock kind of thing.
I don't know. I haven't played BioShock, but I've been considering it.
I've played through them all. They're a great game. You should give them a shot. It's got first-person shooter. It's got some role-playing. It's got character build. It's got different trees you can go down for different abilities.
Ooh, I love the customization. Yeah.
What kills a game for me is bad controller mechanics. If it's difficult to play the game, to move left, to move right, to crouch, to just do the basics in the game, why would I play that game? I'll play a game where I can play it comfortably and then enjoy the PvP aspects.
What game have you had that has bad controller experience? I know they're out there, but like, do you have like a specific game that you played that you know for a fact had the shitty controllers?
Yeah, so I can avoid it.
I know there's some where it's like, oh, it's so realistic that your gun gets heavy and you won't be able to hold it up any longer. You know the wavering gun when you're trying to scope?
Yeah, I'd have to sit down and think about it. I've played hundreds of games, and to think about the bad ones, I normally don't.
It would depress you, yeah. Kokoro, you didn't say what you would absolutely hate about a first-person game. What would turn you completely off of it?
Probably the ones that I cannot dismantle or how do I say it? The one I cannot make use of tricks or something. For example, like animation canceling in Overwatch. There's a few, but it's still good enough for me. I like it. I like those kind of things. But if there's nothing, if the game is too perfect,
you don't like polished games. You like exploits.
Yeah, I like those kind of thing. I like the exploits stuff. Like I can use this to make advantages.
It's almost like he's from another generation than us, Joe. Like a completely different generation.
Yeah, well, it's probably true.
Hey man, I'm 19 years old, man.
Yeah, he's young. He's young. All right, so let's see. Okay, I got it. What has been the most unrealistic game that you played, but you still had fun doing it? I would say Halo, the entire Halo series.
Halo?
Aliens. You kill them, and then there's the zombie pit at the end. That was a beautiful end to the first episode.
I loved all about Halo. I love the storyline, I love the gameplay, I love the online play. You can't find a spot there where I'm gonna hate on Halo. The most unrealistic for me was probably Borderlands, which again I loved. I put 400 plus hours into each game. It's cell shaded. It looks cartoonish. The only thing that kept me engaged through all of that was just an amazing storyline.
The wonderful humor.
Yeah, it was.
And how hillbilly it is.
Some of the characters, yeah, absolutely. But every character was unique and just brought a lot to the table.
Okay, what was your favorite character to play for both games?
To play as was the Siren in the first game. And then in the second game, the Sniper.
All right, so...
Oh, you're going to ask me about the most unrealistic FPS shooting game that I've been bragging just a while ago, known as
are you gonna
Overwatch.
say Overwatch again? Is your whole answer to FPS is please don't call me? All I know is Overwatch.
No.
I don't
I
know
play
these
CS:GO.
proper
I
games.
play TF2. I play what was that game? I kind of forgot. Max Payne. I played a little bit of Borderlands, to be honest. I didn't really touch it much because I was like, I didn't have much time for this.
All right, so tell us about how unrealistic.
Overwatch.
Goddamn,
mean a-
yeah.
You're gonna ask me.
A giant ape wielding guns is unrealistic. What are you saying?
How about the
A
fact that
a monkey
there's an
that I
angel
usually-
with a rod that heals you,
uh,
or
Okay.
a Buddhist monk who's a machine,
hey man, don't.
or the fact that DJ is actually useful?
A DJ healing people.
People were feeling his good vibes.
It's
wor-
grew.
It worked in League of Legends.
Yes, it works. Freaking Sona. But if you want me to explain, I don't want to explain it. But just think
Alright,
about
well-
like Harambe electrifying you.
Oh, God, don't-
Another
don't say
unrealistic
that.
game, of course, is Unreal Tournament.
Oh,
which,
yeah.
which I loved. I played as much as I can. I liked the first one the most just because the player base was the biggest.
Is it the blade shooting gun?
Yeah, it shoots blades. They got rockets. They got everything. You're fighting cyborgs. You're fighting aliens. Everything moves twice the speed of modern warfare. And it's like you're spinning at all times to watch your angles. It's just an incredibly fast-paced game.
You know a game we haven't mentioned? Quake.
Quake. Oh,
Oh my God! I
Oh
can't
my
tell you
God.
the hours I played on Quake while having Firestarter from Prodigy play in the background as
Yeah.
loud as I can.
starts up. It started just a huge FPS community. I remember when I was in high school, it was on all of the computers. We're talking Pentium 1s and Pentium 2s. Back
Oh
when
my God.
networking was done through
So old.
command prompts.
Okay, I gotta ask you, what has been your favorite old crappy game like Wolfenstein and not competitive PvP, but an FPS? Yeah, FPS that really got you in the mood of playing FPSs in the first place. The ones that are the single player going through a dungeon type.
Yeah.
What was your favorite one of those?
Probably the original Doom. I put a lot of hours into that. It was goofy. It was, many would tell you it electrified the genre. It brought into so much controversy over it. It jump-started so many companies into bringing first-person shooters to the market.
If you're talking about controversy, what about that famous quote? What was it called? No Russia? Like,
No Russia?
Talking from Wolfenstein?
no.
From-
Freaking Call of Duty. Call of Duty, where it's like that airport scene. Is it
I
You
missed the
know-
controversy of that. I never heard anything about
Dude,
it.
I
Really?
didn't hear anything about that either.
really?
I don't know about that. But I will tell you.
We're gonna call it a fakereversy.
Let's take a.
Literally, it got placed in the news, saying that Call of Duty games is a very big controversy and stuff like that. I see a lot of those stuff in my feed.
First-person shooters are always in the news because there's people out there that are trying to say that first-person shooters lead to people committing actual murder, which is an obscene statement. It makes no goddamn sense. Sorry for the GD bomb. They just there's no correlation in my mind to how, okay, I played video games that were violent, now I want to go out and commit real violence. For any sane person I know, it's like, hey, I got out my frustrations in something constructive where I had fun, and now I'm calm and relaxed.
All right, so I have a question for you, Joe.
Yeah.
Have you heard about how our current army and the veterans from the most recent war have been training with the concept of using first-person shooters such as Call of Modern Warfare to do not only team-building exercises but also for gun training?
I haven't heard too much about that. I think it's a good idea mostly because it teaches you, and if you play first-person shooters or paintball or any live action, anything like that, just sticking your head out a little bit is enough to take you out of the game. And in real life, as a soldier, going out into the battlefield, knowing that, like really understanding that before you get there is going to save lives.
All right, so we're going to do a quick poll, and I want to have them first do it. And I want to hear from Ray, then I want to hear from Joe, and then I'm going to say my own opinion. Zombies or Nazis?
Zombie Nazis.
Oh, damn, he beat me to it. But yeah, zombie Nazis. It's the only thing better than zombies or Nazis. What game was that again?
That's in the Modern Warfares. They have Zombie Nazis as like a side game online and outside of the normal gameplay. For me, I like zombies better. In role-playing games, it brings an element of like fire damage and more comedy to games that are looking for that. And then as far as like precision games, like the Modern Warfare and stuff, like all of a sudden headshots count again because
What about-
zombies, of course, you have to shoot zombies.
Yeah.
What
And there's a
about
whole-
Left 4 Dead?
I've never played Left 4 Dead. I played all of the Resident Evils,
I was
which
going to
are
ask
amazing.
you, Left 4 Dead or Resident Evil? Which is
I'm
your
gonna have to say
choice?
Resident Evil because I played all of them and I haven't touched Left 4 Dead.
What about you, Ray?
Oh.
Left 4 Dead or Resident Evil?
I haven't played anything that Resident Evil kind of has name. What? I'm playing Left 4 Dead, okay?
Yeah. I haven't played either, so I have no right to say anything. But it's just like we will have a standstill here, depending which of them are better. I
Well,
guess.
now you got to play them both, and you got to tell us what your favorite is to break the tie.
That's a good point. I gotta play them both to tell you guys which one's right. I'm probably gonna side with Joe. Sorry.
What? Just because they are both older than me.
No, he probably won't, because Resident Evil is like a survival-based game where you have limited resources, and he said earlier he doesn't like those.
That's the same as
Oh.
Left 4 Dead.
That's a good point.
It's not quite the same.
So, we are going to go to a quick song again, and we'll be back for some special. God, what are they called? PSAs?
PSAs.
Just real quick talk about the veterans and what they mean to us. So, enjoy this music and stay tuned. I cut the musical audio. All right, so we're going to take a quick moment to say that we appreciate our veterans, that Veterans Day is coming up, and that, hey, they fought for our rights. So, speaking of political stuff, considering who we have running, we may be having a nuclear war anytime now. So, since we're bringing up the concept of nuclear war, let's go to Fallout.
Okay.
Bad tie-in, I know, but I had to go.
Could have been worse. Could have been worse.
Yeah.
I'm just glad you didn't want me to talk about politics. 'Cause
No.
You don't want to hear those rants.
No, if I wanted you to hear that rant, I'd bring you on Polytalk. At least someone then will be actually talking.
Fallout the game, Fallout the universe. I love it. I played it since the beginning. I played every game they put out, including the bad ones.
Okay.
Fallout Brotherhood on Xbox was awful. Everybody knows it was awful.
Joe, this is the place where you can confess your sins. Explain to the world how you broke one of the games. Max leveled before you even 1/10 of the way through the game.
Well, in the old games, there's a lot of stuff. They called them trainers at the time, where you could edit your save files.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the fact that you killed little children.
Oh, my.
Oh.
With the sleepwalker move.
There's Fallout 3, the third. For anybody who hasn't played it, it's based in a post-apocalyptic world where semiconductors were never really engineered, but nuclear fission was. And then there was a big global nuclear war leaving waste. And most of the story takes place about 100 or 400 years after the dust settles and you come out into a nuclear wasteland trying to survive. In the third one, what he's talking about is there was an exploit. Some of us like exploits. We talked about that earlier, where you can't kill children in the game. But there's a perk that if you try and kill somebody while they're sleeping, you get bonus experience. So if you sneak up on a kid sleeping and try and kill them, it won't kill them, but you get the experience over and over and over again. And it was an exploit that you could start the game basically at max level just to play through for fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's how evil Joe is.
I like that.
What has been your experience of the Fallout game?
I have a very little experience with the Fallout game, but I just borrowed an account or a game from my friend, and then I was like, "Ooh, I like this weapon." This is called Nuke Weapon. I forgot what it's called, like the Nuke Rocket Launcher.
The Fat Boy shoots mini tactical nukes.
I like mass destruction.
Mass destruction is always a good thing. I think my favorite part of the Fallout series is it is both a strategical and yet real-time based first-person shooter. And the reason I'm bringing this up is my favorite feature of the Fallout game is not just the customization, it is also being able to specifically target parts of the body.
Yeah, so...
And being told percentage of chances of getting that specific part.
The Fallout turned into a first-person shooter with the Fallout 3 coming out. I think Bethesda put that one out. And they had what they called VATs in the old game, and in the new game you still have it to where you get to use your characters, the mechanics behind your character are pen and paper based. So there's probability for everything that you do. And you could pause it and take a skilled shot aimed outside of the real-time playing. In the new games, they've changed that to like they call it bullet time, where it slows down but doesn't stop time. Makes it a little more immersive. That makes it
more fair.
Yeah, in Fallout 4. And it's just, I love the whole idea of the game. And there's a huge modding community out there, which with Fallout 4 they've brought to both the PlayStation and Xbox, that allows people to make the game more immersive and actually run better in a lot of cases, where you get better graphics and greater frame rate for the same game. And it's an amazing community.
Now, there's Fallout 4, and I know there's a lot of mods out there for it. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite mod that you have used for Fallout 4?
My favorite mod? It's going to be goofy and simple, but it's called immersive vendors. So in the game, you can build or you can hire people to sell stuff at your compounds or complexes, cities that you can make in the game. They have a whole settlement system.
Yeah, the settlements.
And so with this mod, it just simply takes their plain tables they have and puts immersive items all over it, like they would really be selling from a shop.
Oh.
Because in the basic one, it's
That's
just
awesome.
it's just like a wooden shack. But with the immersive vendors, now there's at the general goods, there'll be shirts and toys and stuff laying over the tables.
Well, that's very cool. All right, so
Well, while we're talking about the mods,
okay, well, we're talking about mods. Go
the
ahead.
most famous one for mods are Garry's Mod.
Garrus mod?
Gary's mod for Counter-Strike.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so
What does it do?
really you haven't played it yet?
Have I played it?
I don't think you have,
I
but
played
I'm kind of
Counter-Strike, but I
surprised.
don't know about Gary's mod. What does Gary's mod do?
So Garry's Mod is basically has the texturing, the movements, all somewhat like Counter-Strike, but you can play around with mods. And the thing about it is that it has different kind of first-person game modes as well, like prop hunt, sandbox. I think it was called hide and seek. Yeah, hide and seek, and I forgot what's the new one called. Yeah, so basically, it has a tons of types like that. But one of my favorites is the sandbox mode because you can basically do anything in that world.
That's
But it
pretty
still
cool.
has the
Awesome.
idea of FPS.
I like the prop hunt, and that's where half the team goes and they can click on an item and they become the item to hide in the level. And the other team has to go out and find the out of place objects and shoot them to kill them. But if they shoot something that's already in the level, then they take damage themselves.
Very nice. All right, I will say my favorite mod would have to be, because I grew up very disturbed and I hated the show so much,
That's why you called
the
Maddrequiem.
Barney mod for Doom, where you turn everything into Barney, and the best part is it turns this growls and the screeches and all the noises into "I love you, you love me."
Man, that's really
and
fucked up.
listening to Barney scream in horrible pain as you shoot him full of lead.
I'm not going to say it was a bad idea. I've never played it myself. I'll have to look for it.
I
It's
can
a
imagine.
great mod to Doom. I don't know if it would be in the new Doom, but it was in the original Doom. Oh, and by the way, yes, the ones where they're just floating heads, it's just a floating head of Barney.
So Matt, you said you didn't like the scary jump scare games like Doom 3, Dead Space.
No, I do not like those ones.
What's your take in? Like, how do you feel about those games?
Oh, those.
Yes, how are you feeling about those
Thrilling.
scary jump games?
I like it.
I do
That's-
too. I play in the dark. I turn up my surround sound. Make sure that like when something jumps out to scare me, the whole room shakes a little bit from the subwoofer.
I was in the room when he first played Doom 3. I immediately left the room.
That game, the thing I didn't like about that
Scream.
game, and it did make it scarier, but man, was it frustrating, is it was real dim, so you could almost see nothing. And so you could either hold your flashlight up or your gun up, but you couldn't do both. I'm like, come on, man, let's get a little tactical. Let's do both. Let's hold my flashlight under my gun. But no, it's not built into the game. You can't do it.
Over a world without duct tape. All right, well, that's about as far as we can go today. We hope you enjoyed our live broadcast, which will obviously be a little longer than our actual edited form, which will be sent out actually on Friday. So, see you next time. This has been Maddrequiem.
And DJ Kokoro?
And Joe, thanks for having me on, and thanks to all of our veterans out there.
And this has been Generation Gaming saying, fight on, soldier, fight on.